Sports, Nebraska's home for championship sports, is at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska for the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation Boys State Championships. And good morning, everybody. I'm Larry Putnam along with Steve Simpek. Great to have you with us this morning. You know, last week we crowned 4 state championships on the girls' side. Today, 4 more. This is on the boys' side. And we have some more rematches this morning, starting all the way back in Class A. Fremont is back here looking for another state championship.
You want to see 2 great teams with great programs who I'd take any of their players on my on my bowling team any time of the week. Again, 2 great programs, and you'll see some power with these 2 boys teams going at it.
That should be a fun one. That will finish the day. We're going to start it out in Class D, but first, let's talk about that Class B matchup. 2 teams who are here, it seems like every year. Pius has been here 5 of the last 7 years. Hastings has been here 7 of the last 9.
Coaching. I think it all started with a guy named Putney a long time ago that coached that Pius program. But once you get that pipeline started and you get the coaching tree started and you keep developing players throughout, you have results, Larry. And we'll see that this afternoon with those 2 programs.
One of the better ever Class C teams we've seen, North Bend. We'll see them today in Class C.
C and D are the 4-player formats here in high school bowling in Nebraska. And I think if North Bend was allowed to have that 5th player, I think they could compete in the Class A and B programs. And again, you're going to see some all types of bowling, but you're going to see some power today as this new game develops where you rev the ball up more. You're going to see some pins fly.
Should be a lot of fun. We're going to kick it off this morning in Class D, the state championship coming your way. It's Humphrey and Ravenna right here on NET Sports.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
No matter how you look at it, animal agriculture helps Nebraska's economy. The livestock industry provides increased tax revenues for schools and community services. Livestock enterprises also create jobs while contributing to existing businesses such as local banks and grocery stores. A thriving livestock industry helps maintain our current way of life, but also provides opportunities for the next generation of farm families. The Nebraska Soybean Checkoff helps to raise awareness of the importance of animal agriculture to Nebraska.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
If you stay long enough, if you put yourself in the right place, your head, heart, and soul align, everything slows down. And even though you're on vacation, for the first time and you can't remember when, you feel at home. Wouldn't that be nice?
Programming on NET Television is made possible in part by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank knows the importance of giving back. That's why we're committed to supporting charitable, educational, and service organizations in communities across Nebraska and the nation. In 2014, U.S. Bank employees have already provided more than 3,000 hours of community service in Nebraska, and we are dedicated to continuing that support. U.S. Bank, serving you in Nebraska. Member FDIC.
And welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes here in Lincoln, Nebraska, getting set for the boys Class C State Championships. I want to remind you, a great opportunity for you to pick up a DVD of this year's state high school championships. You can do that by going to the website, www.nhsbf.com, and preserve these memories for a lifetime.
Wasn't our first telecast, Larry, on beta? VHS
right.
beta? I think it was.
That's right.
Been doing this a long time.
Here's a look at the starting lineup for Ravenna. The Blue Jays of Ravenna: Shane Andrews, Bruning, McFadden, McWiggin, Olson, and Ryan Reed, all seniors, a senior-laden team. for this Ravenna squad, coached by head coach Michael Brown. Humphrey, led by coach Stacy Pfeiffer. Joey Babel is a senior. Beller, Braun, both juniors. Labins is a senior. Jacob Lutke is a junior. Cam Miller is senior. And Colton Schmitz, the lone sophomore of the group. So that's a look at Ravenna, the Blue Jays, and Humphrey High, the Bulldogs. They will be battling for this Class D state championship. Our first telecast, first state championship of the day here in Class D. We've got 4 coming your way. We'll begin in D, C, B, and A. And great to have you with us across the state here on a Sunday morning watching boys high school state championship bowling on NET. Along with Steve Simpek, I'm Larry Putney. Seems like we've been doing this for a while, doesn't it?
Yeah,
8 years here on NET.
It is shocking on an early Sunday morning, and it's the dead of winter, and we've got a packed house here, and you know, it just goes to show you how popular the sport of bowling is in high schools across the state.
So both of these teams last year had their season end at the hands of Clarkson Lee. Clarkson Lee was the eventual state champion last year. There's a look at the Blue Jays from Ravenna. They won the Class C title back in 2011. This is their second consecutive appearance in the state finals. I'm not sure if that's in order, Cameron, Joey, or not, but they lost last year in that state championship 3-1. Humphrey High, their second finals appearance in 3 years. They won the title over Humphrey St. Francis. Do you remember that when it was Humphrey and Humphrey St. Francis a couple of years ago in that intra-city battle back in 2013? So Humphrey High going after and looking for its second state championship in 3 years. By the way, last week, the girls from Humphrey won a state championship. So you know there's been some chatter going on in school. We won it last week. Go get it done.
Boys are going to want to not let the girls have the reign at the school of being the state champs, so you're going to see them pull out all the stops today to try to take that trophy home.
Babel with the strike. That's Joey Babel, the senior, averaging 175. Starts it off for the Bulldogs.
He is a beefy boy. Good upper body, throws that ball hard, but still gets enough twist on it down at the back end to make it strike.
Josh McQuiggan slides by. And the first open for the Ravenna Blue Jays.
Larry, the lane conditions today here at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, a 32-lane house, and it probably one of the best maintained and best kept bowling centers in the state. Proprietor John Lacido, who is also our commissioner of high school bowling, just does a fantastic job here at his staff. The bowling lanes have conditioner on it, on the lanes. The conditioner is a thin film of almost like a cooking oil or a very, very, very light machine oil that goes on the lanes. It's although if you watch the PBA Tour on ESPN, you can now they have it colored where you can see it, but we don't use that here. And there's a heavier concentration, a little bit of a heavier pool of oil in the center of the lane than on the outsides. And the reason for that is the majority of the play, the majority of the balls thrown in the lane are in that middle area. So that's why the conditioner is heavier in the center versus how much they put on the outsides as you get closer to the gutter. So you're going to see probably a few frames of these guys getting adjusted, trying to figure out where the best track is, the best line to play to get their ball to hook into the pocket.
Sean McFadden with the cover there for the Ravenna Blue Jays. You see the score through 2 frames. And as a reminder, this is a best-of-5 Baker. And in a Baker format, each individual player in this class, or in this case, because we are in Class D, there are 4 total bowlers. The first and second bowler will bowl a total of 3 frames. Bowlers 2, 3, and 4 will bowl 2 frames, but they each bowl a frame and take turns at doing so. It's a true team sport here in Baker High School bowling.
You bet. Your first and second bowlers are going to be your bowlers that are going to I don't want to say
players.
Yeah. They're going to be the ones that you're going to want to go to because they're going to get that all-important 9th and 10th frame at the end of each game. And what we're seeing, and we saw a little bit of this last week with the ladies, is you're seeing some spares that are missed. You know, both of these teams come from smaller communities. Ravenna, the proprietor at Ravenna, Chris Lands, an 8-lane bowling center in Humphrey, a 6-lane bowling center in beautiful Humphrey. And, you know, different lane services play different. You kind of get zoned in and get that comfortable feel on where you come from in your home bowling center. So when you make the trip to Lincoln, you're playing in a different environment. You're on TV, for gosh sakes. Yeah. All of that's going to come into play until these boys get a little loose and get some confidence.
So here on the left lane is Shane Andrews going after the Greek church, which he left, which is not an easy conversion.
Nope. It's a toughie, and he did the right thing. Went and took the easy 3-pin count. They were on a strike, so that assists the count. That gives them an extra 3 pins with that strike working. And this is a makeable spare here on lane 28.
Tate Beller, the lefty. Beller with a good conversion for the Bulldogs. Also in this Baker format, in Baker bowling, they will bowl 5 frames on one lane, and then the 2 teams will switch lanes.
Yeah, the unique thing about Baker is you stay on the same lane as you go, but then after half of the game is done, then you switch. Each team switches sides. You do not alternate lanes like you do in traditional league play.
Joey Babel now back up on that right-hand lane. Babel struck his first time up, crosses over, leaves the 3-10, so some work left for Joey Babel. And back up on the left-hand lane, Josh McWiggin. McWiggin, also a senior, averages 181, has been on varsity for 3 years. He was here last year when they lost to Clarkson Lee, and McWiggin converts the spare.
Boy, Larry, we've got a great day of bowling ahead of us. We've got some matches coming up with some real powerhouse teams. You're going to see in Class C a North Bend team that for a town of about 1,100 people on Highway 30 in Nebraska, you're going to see some tremendous bowling from them. They'll be up next. And then the Class A match with Fremont and Grand Island, you're going to see some of the state and maybe the Midwest best potential bowlers coming up.
We have all kinds coming up here on NET Sports in terms of championships. The NSA Girls State Basketball Championships will be broadcast March 7th. And the Boys State Basketball Championships on March 14th. Games begin at 9 in the morning, and they go all day long on those 2 Saturdays. Boys and Girls State Basketball Championships right here on NET Sports. On the right-hand lane, here's Sean McFadden, the senior, crosses over.
And you're seeing the boys have now figured out after about 10 minutes of practice prior to us starting and now a half game in that the ball is not hooking as much as they probably have seen. So they're doing what we call pointing it or going straight at it. That's a great cover there on that 10-pin. And so they'll eventually migrate out.
That's Cameron. What do you think?
I would say that's Cameron.
Yeah.
At least they didn't have like an embarrassing baby picture of him, which you see at some sporting events.
Oh, good cover there by McFadden.
Sorry about that, Larry. Eventually what you're going to see, folks, is the team that stays clean, and by clean we mean less open frames, is going to eventually be right there. And we've seen teams over the years, Larry, string strikes and just virtually run away with things, but you're not going to kill yourself if you just stay clean and pick up spares.
Colton Schmitz with that last strike, the sophomore for the Bulldogs. And here on the right-hand lane, Steve Bruning. Bruning is senior.
Well, they're all seniors, so.
That's right, every one of them. Back up on the left lane, here's Tate Beller.
Nice, smooth, left-handed delivery. Watch Tate. He'll play off the left corner. He'll be out around the first arrow, and he'll watch the ball hook in to the pocket. When he got to the line a little fast there, what we mean by that in bowling is his footwork got a little bit ahead of his swing. So when he arrived at the foul line, he had to bring his arm through to kind of catch up so he could release the ball and hit his target, which usually causes you to, most times, miss your target on the light side of the pocket where he missed to the left. So
the open in the 7th frame by Ravenna opens the door now for the Bulldogs. And with the strike in the 7th, the Bulldogs have now taken a slight lead.
That's a better shot.
And a big cover. So it puts a little bit of pressure now on the 8th frame on Shane Andrews, averaging 180.
Nice, slow, deliberate release, and you know that was just it looked like it was a touch slower than his last frame, Larry, and that caused that ball to hook early. This is a close enough match where he's going to want to just take the 2 pins and count and force Humphrey to stay clean.
Joey Babel crosses over, and Babel that time got the 10 out of there. Efforted the 3 pin, but it remains.
Well, Ravenna, to have a chance to stay in the hunt here, is going to have to take the 2 pins here. And then hopefully maybe count on Humphrey to have an open frame in the 10th. Still going to require Ravenna to throw at least 1 strike, maybe 2 in the 10th.
Giving it a run. Good cover on the 2, but that will put them 13 pins down through 8 frames. So in the 9th now, here's Babel. This is an important conversion to hang on to that lead. Babel right at it, got it. So Joey Babel picks it up, keeps the Bulldogs on top here in game number 1.
It's almost a necessity for a strike here in the 9th frame for Ravenna.
Josh McWiggin on the right-hand lane.
Got a chance.
Good shot by McWiggin, just a bit high and leaves the 4.
Well, a mark here by Humphrey is going to sew it up for game 1. Spare a strike ought to be enough, and unfortunately, it's not the easiest spare conversion.
Some work left there for Cameron Miller.
Possible 155 for Humphrey. If Cameron can spare. Must have spare here for Ravenna, and it gets there.
So a good cover in the 9th. So this is a very important strike here, or conversion, excuse me.
Spare here is going to lock it up.
Wow. And what a shot. Cam Miller steps up and cleans up the mess that he left. And now a possible 145. But still an opportunity here because of that only 5-pin count.
Right, must strike.
And he does. Big strike. And now they're in the driver's seat.
Yeah,
one more strike, right?
I misspoke, Larry. They, well, it could come down to count. They're going to have to, Ravenna must strike on lane 28 to have a chance. Possible 155 here with some good count, and that's
big shot there. So 155, the final for Humphrey, and now we're down to a must-strike situation. A strike here, and they got a chance.
That's got a good chance, Larry.
Get up! What a shot! Back-to-back strikes when they had to have him from the anchor bowler. Great shots by Sean McFadden.
Well, we have a chance for a tie here. So 8 pins, and we have a tie, which means each team will
get one bowler to choose to throw a shot.
Do our little sudden death roll-off deal.
So
9 or a strike, and Ravenna wins game 1. That is right in the wheelhouse.
Good shot. Needs 9. Got 10.
After being down pretty much that whole game, Larry, the anchor bowler comes back with a clutch turkey in the 10th frame to win by 1 pin.
Outstanding job by the anchor bowler, Sean McFadden, who steps up and throws 3 in a row, and they come from behind to win it 157-155.
So now you go back, sorry, Larry, now you go back to Humphrey with a couple of 9 misses in that first game, you know, and those are the 2 pins right there where you had an 8 and a miss and a 9 and a miss where you wish you would have got 1 or 2 more there, but got to move on now.
Now Joey Babel's moved on, and quickly for the 2nd game in a row. He starts off the Bulldogs with a strike. And here's McWiggin.
And he's been close, been right around the pocket each time. And that's a better shot, Larry. Just might have got his hand on top of the ball just a tiny bit there. And what we mean by that, when you come out of the ball, your hand usually tries to stay behind or slightly behind or a little bit alongside the ball. His hand is almost on top of the ball, meaning he rotated his hand just a little too quick and caused that ball to jump just a little bit at the end there. But he's got a makeable spare, and as we saw in that first game, single pin errors cost Humphrey that first game. So you want to pick these easy ones up, Larry.
Yep. And a good cover by McWigan, whose brother Jacob was on the 2011 team, which won a state championship. So he'd like to take home a state championship pin of his own.
Well, I want to give credit to my good friends and great people. Talk about two of wonderful people in this world, and really got this Ravenna program started. Don and Pam Herbert, former proprietors at Sport Bowl in Ravenna. They're in the crowd today rooting on their Ravenna team, and drove down there. Retired out of the bowling business, but still come out to support the team.
And longtime coaches.
Yes,
supporting the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, and not just proprietors, but giving back to the community, developing the bowlers of tomorrow.
They did a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, their own money, their own time to get this Blue Jay program going, and you're seeing the fruit of it. They're regular participants in the state finals down here every year.
So Sean McFadden up. McFadden punched in the 10th in the last game and just slides that by the 10 pin there. With that open, Humphrey takes another early lead once again.
Cross lane for Colton here at the 6 and the 10. Straight at it, nice and hard. Oh, just a tough break there. Chopped the 6 off the 10, and you know, a quarter of an inch either way, and that spare is made, and just a tough break in bowling. Got to shake it off and come back. And what you see there, Larry, with that, with the 3-6-10 on lane 28 for Steve, is when he let go of the ball kind of went up and out on the lane instead of out and down the lane, and that just causes that ball to hook a tiny bit more at the end. Oh, great shot.
Good
there.
ball by Beller.
Great smooth left-handed release there.
Tate Beller, a junior.
So you see how that ball kind of takes a little bit of a loft, a little bit of a jump before it hits the lane, and that just causes that ball to hook a little sooner. And you know, in the good old days of bowling, Larry, when you and I were junior bowlers, which seems like an eternity ago, you know, we were taught to actually release the ball that way. But nowadays, with the strong reactive resin and high-powered hooking balls, you're actually taught to release the ball similar to that there, but to get the ball out and down on the lane, which will get the ball down the lane, save its finish for the pins where you see that explosive pinfall. So it's a game of inches, if not less, in bowling.
So both teams have gone a bit chilly here in these last few frames. Back-to-back opens by Ravenna, back-to-back opens also by Humphrey. So these two teams trying to get out of the funk here, and it'll be Joey Babel here trying to do it for the Bulldogs.
Struck his last time up.
Kicked the 4 out of there, left the 1-2.
I think he just threw that ball right through the back of the machine. He's got some speed on that thing. Didn't give the ball a chance to hook.
Here's Seth Olson looking for a spare conversion. Seth crosses over and got it. So that'll stop the string of opens for Ravenna. And Babel covers. So a tight game here through 4 frames.
Just an ever so slight lead for Ravenna right now. They'll keep a 1-pin lead with a strike here.
And they do.
Actually, that extends their lead to 11 now as the teams switch sides.
Well, you know, the part of this competition as well in all classes is the singles competition, which took place yesterday on Saturday. All these bowlers bowled 4 games. Their first 3 count toward individual. And Steve Bruning of Ravenna, who's bowling here today, was your individual singles champion. The top 5 you see there, along with Josh McWigan from Ravenna. all 5. The top 5 are first team All-State. The next 5 would be second team All-State. Congratulations to all of those bowlers who on the individual side finish in the top 10 in the state in their class. Right-hand lane now. Here's Cameron Miller. Cam crosses over. 6-pin remains. So now on the left-hand lane, the anchor bowler, Sean McFadden. Check that. Yep, good cover by McFadden.
Missed that 10-pin earlier and comes back and converts the 6 and the 10.
So just 2 pins separate these two teams. An important spare conversion, and he got it. 77-75. Ravenna on top by 2 through 5. Both teams with a couple of opens. Here's Steve Bruning.
A little more speed that time, Larry.
A good shot by Bruning.
Yeah, a little more speed, got that ball further down the lane, and that's just part of his game. He's going to have that loft on his release, but he picked up the pace a little bit, got the ball further down the lane with that extra speed, right dead square in the pocket.
Colton Schmitz here on the shot. Schmitz goes through the nose, leaves a 6'10", certainly spareable. For Colton Schmitz, the sophomore, averages 161. Now on the left lane, Seth Olson. Olson a bit high, but kicks out that 7th pin to avoid the split. Now Colton Schmitz missed a couple of spares here. See if he comes back strong, and he does.
Almost chopped it earlier in the game and just about did it again, but took a little something off that, kept the ball from hooking at the end. Lay off.
And Olson got it. So the strike by Ravenna has given them a couple more pins in count, so they've extended that lead. Just to about 4 pins now, depending on count here by Tate Beller.
Tate's got that little hitch in his arm swing there where the elbow comes up, but as long as he stays right down that area from about the 7th board to the 5th board on the left side there, Larry, that ball just roars back into the pocket. That's 2 strikes now for him in his last 2 times up. That's a good shot.
By McWiggin.
Just a touch high.
And that could be a door opener, because working on a strike, here is Joey Babel. Babel with a strike working his team down by 4 pins.
So give him the lead, Larry.
In the pocket, doesn't get the mix.
That's been his good lane. The right-hand lane might hook just a little more than the left lane here on lanes 27 and 28 at Sun Valley Lanes.
So in a tight game like this, probably looking for the 2, because pin count is going to matter down the stretch.
You bet. Working on a spare, tough split, take the 2 pins just like that.
Good decision.
It's 143 in the 9th.
And now an important spare shot by Joey Babel.
Spare here will give them the lead going into the 9th frame.
And it does. So about, depending on count again, about a 10-pin lead heading into the 10th. So
Humphrey would sure love to tie this thing up. Oh, well, that's going to pretty much lock it up for Humphrey here. A mark obviously is going to be enough, possible 152 for Ravenna. Actually, any count here, Larry, and that's exactly enough count, and we are tied at 1-1.
So a couple of untimely splits in the 9th and 10th frame by Ravenna really cost them here in this game. Once again, Ravenna led it. They had that lead going into the 8th, but those splits in the 9th and 10th. Mixes it up, doesn't get the 7 to go, but they will win it. Ravenna finished with a score of 151. Humphrey already with 172. And still an opportunity to convert this spare. Here, Cam Miller to close it out. Doesn't really matter as they win it. The final 172 to 151, and we are all knotted at one game apiece here in this Class D state championship between Ravenna and Humphrey. Sports fans, NET is for you. We bring you more Nebraska high school and collegiate sports than any other Nebraska network. For more information on dates, times, available webcasts, just visit the website, netnebraska.org/sports. Thrilled to be able to bring you these state high school bowling championships here on NET from Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Already underway and gets the kick of that 9-pin tripped out of there by McWiggin. Last week, you might remember, we brought you the girls' state championships, 4 state champions crowned. We're doing the same here with the boys today.
He's had success in this right-hand lane. Just coming in a touch high. Good shot there of straight arm swing. Sean McFadden, nice straight arm swing, hand behind the ball. Low maintenance game. We've seen spares be the downfall of both these teams in each of these 2 games, and just a little too much speed to get that ball to hook right at that 4-pin. You should have, in that typical situation like that with a lot of speed, you need to go right at it. Chance for Ravenna to really jump on a big lead with a 3-bagger with a strike here. More speed again, Larry.
Leaves the bucket on the left side.
He really got that one out on the lane that time. He lofted that one when it came off his hand. It landed at least 4 or 5 feet out on the lane. Delayed the hook of the ball that time. They can keep their big lead on Humphrey with a spare here. This is the 2, 4, 5, and 8 on the left-hand lane for Sean Bruning. Got to get that ball right square on the 2-pin so the ball carries out the 8 and just got to hit that almost straight on to convert.
Just slides by and leaves the head pin. Both of these teams had to survive a 5-game match to make it here to the state championship. It was Ravenna knocking off Humphrey St. Francis in 5, 199-181 in the 5th. To get here, as you see the strike by Seth Olson, and it was Humphrey High winning 174-141 in a 5th game against McCool Junction. There are 4 programs right there we hear a lot about in Class D bowling: Ravenna, Humphrey St. Francis, Humphrey High, and McCool Junction.
Small communities, only a couple of those have their own bowling center, which means these teams have to travel. Both these programs are lucky to have good bowling centers in their communities, but high school bowling continues to grow. We'll see more and more schools pick up bowling as a club sport in our quest to get it to be a letter sport, and we're going to have to put a few more bowling centers in this day.
We're going to be joined later on in the broadcast by Brian English, who is the United States Bowling Congress Director of High School Bowling across the entire United States. He'll provide an update on the efforts and what's going on across the country with high school bowling and its continued growth. That should be an interesting conversation with Brian.
Brian and the USBC in Arlington, Texas, the governing body of the sport of bowling, they dedicate a lot of time and resources, and especially Brian and the rest of the staff down there. Their whole department's goal is to continue to develop not only youth bowling, but especially manage the growth of high school bowling There's, I do believe now, 19 states in the United States where varsity bowling is a letter sport, just like all the other sports in schools. And there's a whole slew of other states that have it as a club sport like we do here in Nebraska. But it's always been the goal of not only the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, but of the USBC. It's been the goal to try to have all 50 states have varsity bowling as a part of the high school menu of athletics in each of the schools in the state.
You saw the big shot on the strike by Tate Beller, the lefty, and now Joey Babel leaves the 5-pin, but an important spare because 3 consecutive opens for Humphrey to start this third game. 9 miss, 7-2 in a split, and they had trailed by 25 pins.
He needs to go straight at it, Larry, with his speed, just like that.
So a good cover in the 5th frame. The 2 teams will swap sides. Still a sizable lead right now by Ravenna through 5. Hey, I want to remind you, great time right now to connect with us on Facebook or Twitter. You can add a comment or catch up on the latest Nebraska sports information. Make sure to like our NET Sports page, as well as the Big Red Wrap-Up page. You can join in on the conversation. As we are out in the social space, the Twitter sphere, Facebook.
Twitter sphere?
Absolutely. What a trip by Miller. Got that 6-pin to trip forward. Are you in the Twitter sphere?
I'm not a Twitter guy yet. I figured out the Facebook thing, but I'm old now, so you know all of us old guys and gals are on Facebook. Got to get on Snapchat, Larry. That's the.
Is that right?
Yeah, me and you got to get our own Vine and Snapchat video just going. You work on that.
You recently discovered the internet, so I was impressed.
I was surprised that internet thing's still around. I thought it was just a fad, but.
No. Good cover by the anchor Seth McFadden. So clean in the last 3 for Ravenna. These have been important marks for Ravenna to try to get back into this because Humphrey continues to apply the pressure, working on a strike.
Our first substitute. In Baker Bowling, you can sub in and out as much as you would like, and you can re-enter. It's not like baseball where when you're in, you're out, or when you're out, you're done. That is Casey LeBenz going in. Casey's a senior. So Humphrey trying to shake up the lineup there. And
Bruning. Hit outside, needs to get that 2 out of there, and just lefty. 2-10.
Bruning's been closer to the second arrow on his first ball strike attempts, and that one got all the way out to about the 5th board. The 7 rangefinders on the lanes, the arrows that are at the approximate 18 feet mark are on every 5 boards. So when we talk about the first arrow, that would either be the first arrow on the right side of the lane closest to the gutter or the left, and then the second arrow would be the 10th board, third arrow would be the 15th board, and the 4th arrow is the center of the lane, the 20th board. And most of the righties that are hooking the ball,
good effort,
just about slid it in there. Most righties are going to be right in that track area of the lane, we call it, Larry, which is going to be right around the 10th board. If they're hooking the ball, the straighter players might be a little further out. As the lane gets drier, it'll cause that ball to hook in. But then we have some that are playing down and in traditional, right towards the very dead center of the lane. See if this will be his 4th in a row, Larry, if he can strike. Oh.
Good shot, though, by Tate Beller. And the game is tightened up a bit after the split by Ravenna. Lead it by 12. And rattle him around and got the strike in the 8th.
We call that the love tap. In bowling, head pin goes off the wall and comes back. Nudged out that 4-pin, and we are in a must-spare situation for Tate here on lane number 27 to keep Humphrey in the game. Very straight at it, but that open frame might spell doom and gloom for Humphrey. Another strike here by Ravenna, and this will just about put the match out of reach, Larry.
So here's McWiggin. And that really held the line. What What do you call that when there's a lot of oil there? And
that's called hold, Larry. The hold area of the lane, and the oil of the lane is heavier in the center. So as that ball encroached on the heavier oil, the ball kind of settles in that area and slides a little bit, and that caused that ball to hit the pocket high. But he got the trip, which is the head pin going off the wall, tripping out the 4. So that is pretty much going to, unless Ravenna just flat out doesn't finish the 10th frame, that's going to give them game 3.
So this will extend the lead for Ravenna.
Sorry, Larry. Possible 153 for Humphrey if they can strike out in the 10th, and really all Ravenna needs is to keep the ball in the lane, and they will be the 2-1 leader going into the 4th game. That's going to be good enough right there.
Solid shot by McFadden.
Great shot there, and you might maybe see Ravenna try a sub for the 10th frame just to give somebody some experience, as they've already got this game sewn up. And there's another sub there for Humphrey. That is Andre Brett. I'm sorry, that's the wrong sheet. That is Jacob Ludke. I'm sorry.
Hangs on and covers it for McFadden, who has a high game of 279, a high series, an impressive 722. And as you said, Jacob Ludke on the left lane for Humphrey.
Going to see Ryan Reed for Ravenna throw the fill ball for Ravenna. Ryan's a senior. He's going to throw the fill ball, and you can sub in and out in Baker Bowling.
So that'll close out game number 3, 184-132. And Ravenna takes a 2-1 lead. There's another look at it, 184-132. 3 consecutive opens to finish that game for Humphrey. And Ravenna now takes a 2-1 lead over the Bulldogs. So now an important 4th game for the Bulldogs for Humphrey. Starting it out, Joey Babel.
Off the break, kicking out the 9-pin there, so just an easy single pin spare.
Remember, Ravenna was here last year. Ravenna, in that state championship match last year, lost to Clarkson Lee 3-1. This is their 2nd straight appearance in the state championship. That's a nice mixer. Kicks that around and gets the carry. So a good start for Ravenna.
He starts that ball right in that track area I talked about, just right around the 2nd arrow. Ball hooks up, hits a little bit of heavier oil in the center of the lane, goes right into the pocket.
In terms of their performance here at state in Baker play, Ravenna had a high game of 199 coming into today. Humphrey had a high game of 212.
And that's awful good. And anytime you can get in the 190s and 200s, that's awfully good when you've got 4 different bowlers, different styles, all trying to compete as a team. So, you know, 200 has always been kind of the par, I guess you would say, in bowling. In I would say competition, and maybe even higher in these days with the more expensive and more explosive bowling balls. But in Baker bowling, that's awfully good.
Right. The average between the 2 teams actually favors Ravenna. Averaging 175 as Humphrey's averaging 166 in Baker play, and 3 in a row here for Ravenna.
Yeah, tough there for Humphrey. We don't have any timeouts like you do in baseball, or I guess it's not even really timeout in baseball, but basketball or football or hockey or something like that. But boy, a 4-bagger here by Ravenna would just take the wind out of the sails of Humphrey, and they get it with a crossover.
And the manner in which you do it, that's right. Crossover carry 4 in a row, and Ravenna taking a huge lead, commanding lead here in game number 4, as they are just 1 game away from a state championship.
Well, what Stacy Pfeiffer tells the team on Humphrey is pick up those spares and you know, let's not beat ourselves here. And unfortunately, what's left on 27 is going to be a toughie. You know, Humphrey could get a case of the opens, and excuse me, Ravenna could, and put him right back in the game. But there's another strike, Larry. Oh, just that ball got down the lane just a little too far. Didn't carry the 10, weak 10 there, but it's a great shot. Something big is going to have to happen here for Humphrey to remain in this.
And that will leave 3 of the 4 standing. So a 56 pin lead through 3 frames. 56 pins up, and slides by that. So I've been impressed with this young man, Tate Beller, the junior lefty for the Bulldogs. He seemed to have the most consistent shot, and you know, I'm sure Coach Pfeiffer is considering and thinking through the options here, thinking, you know, maybe I should put Beller in that anchor spot. He's even crossing over. He's had success.
Yeah, he's the player that has outperformed everybody on the pairs really so far, and typically you'll want that go-to player in Class C and D where we have 4-player teams. You'll want that bowler either in your 9th or your 10th position, which gives them 3 frames.
Babel a bit high.
Well, you know, Humphrey's not completely out of it, but they've got a tough hill to climb. Going to have to start throwing some strikes, and of course not missing any spares, and Ravenna's going to have to open, trip over themselves, something to let Humphrey back in. Right straight down the right side of the lane for the 3-pin. Big lead now for Ravenna.
So they'll switch sides, and there you see it, about a 40-plus pin lead right now for Ravenna on top. Hey, I want to remind you, Nebraska High School Boys Bowling Championships
going on right now.
Right here on NET.
Unless we are in that space-time continuum, Larry.
Oh, solid shot there.
Right back on the strikes. Time is getting shorter and shorter and shorter for Humphrey. Going to need some strikes right now. Now is the time. Can't wait any longer, and that's just not going to get it done. That extends Ravenna's lead to 60-plus pins. Just a touch high, leaving the 6-10. Not as much speed on that shot. We saw him quicken his pace. Steve Bruning, and let off a little bit on the speed on that one, caused that ball to go high. Cross lane at the bucket.
You see the dejected look there on the face of Cam Miller, who clearly leads the team, well, just behind Babel in average this year at 171, and just struggling here on a different condition and a different environment with TV cameras pointing out you, just not an easy situation to be in.
Well, if Humphrey can throw a couple strikes here, there's still a chance that they could.
Well, if you mean by a couple, you mean 6. Yeah, there's a chance.
That's a couple strikes.
It is.
About a 60-pin lead right now for the Ravenna Blue Jays, and
Colton Schmitz didn't look too happy either, did he?
No.
There's a solid shot, and not if Ravenna keeps doing that. It really won't make much difference what the Bulldogs do. Here's
a good shot at Ravenna being in the 200s here, Larry.
Schmitz very focused here, and a good conversion by Colton Schmitz.
Good chance here to kind of evaluate what I think is a young bowler with great potential, Tate Beller here. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like Tate's going to be on a state championship team, but he has what I call a little bit of a hitch in his swing. You'll watch when he pushes the ball away, he'll bend his elbow back right there, but when he gets to the foul line, he's in good position, and he fouled actually on that shot. Went over the foul line, and in bowling, that's a dead ball. You get a 0 for that. So But so he'll get another shot here, just like throwing a gutter ball. But when he releases the ball, he's in great form. His foot is perpendicular to the foul line. His right foot will make a T with that foul line, and he's got a straight arm swing. He's got good speed, slow game. Pulled that one a little bit. I'm sure he's worried about not going over again.
Yep.
But the young man's got great potential.
So opportunity here to extend that 56-pin lead for Ravenna. And really it's just a matter of time before Ravenna works its way closer to a state championship.
Seen a couple substitutes here now. Another one of the seniors on the team, all seniors. 180 average with Shane Andrews here on the left-hand lane. Good to end with a strike there.
Well, Babel has been effective today.
He has struck a lot on the right-hand lane.
And a good cover by Shane Andrews. Andrews with a 180 average. They have 3 bowlers on this team with 180 and above averages. McFadden, Andrews, McWiggin. All right around that 180 mark. Gives you lots of options when someone's struggling to move some guys around, but they haven't struggled here today.
No, they haven't, Larry, and that's, again, a testament to the solid program that Ravenna has built up over the last 8 years of high school bowling here in Nebraska.
So here we're seeing a sub. Here's Ryan Reed getting an opportunity. Reed straight up the boards, crosses over, and gets the strike. So Reed with an opportunity to finish off in the 10th, and I got that sly smile there. Cam Miller converts.
Possible 136 for Humphrey. Mark here for Ravenna, and they'll be in the 200s. That's a great Baker score.
Yes, it is.
It's nice that Ryan Reed gets a chance to finish it off for Ravenna.
Crosses again.
They'll be in the 200s, and they're going to avenge their semifinal loss from last year.
Jacob Lutke getting an opportunity here on the right lane. Lutke crosses over, leaves the 10 pins, or the 10 pin. 135 the final for Humphrey. Here's Ryan Reed to close it out, picks it up, and Ravenna saves its best for its last game of state. 203, their high game in Baker competition here at the state tournament, and Ravenna is your boys state high school champ. When we come back, it's like a very subdued group. Maybe they'll be a little more excited when they pick up the trophy when we come back.
Programming on NET television is made possible in part by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank knows the importance of giving back. That's why we're committed to supporting charitable, educational, and service organizations in communities across Nebraska and the nation. In 2014, U.S. Bank employees have already provided more than 3,000 hours of community service in Nebraska, and we are dedicated to continuing that support. U.S. Bank, serving you in Nebraska. Member FDIC.
High school's almost over. What's next? I mean, what are my choices? I want to find something I love, so I can make a life for myself. And then I can give back. So, how do I get there?
Take the next step with Education Quest College Planning Services by visiting educationquest.org.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Ravenna is your 2015 boys Class D state champions. And now with the coach and player, let's go down to Steve Simpek.
Thanks, Larry. Well, I'm here with our head coach, Mike Brown. Mike, one win. You're 1 for 1, man. I mean, you know, first year as a head coach and you bring home the state championship. I mean, I think you should get a big raise from the school district.
Yeah, me too, but I don't know. I just like bowling in general and teaching it. I mean, I don't know what else to do. That's all I do.
Well, you know, I want to call out, we have some great friends in the stands, really the people that kind of was the start of the Ravenna bowling program, the former proprietors, Don and Pam Herbert. They were both coaches and all that. I mean, they really laid the foundation. You've got all seniors this year. What are you going to do next year when you got to go to the well and try to replace these guys?
We have some good kids coming up. We have a pretty solid JV team. And I'm looking forward to next Sunday. I think we can do some damage there at the JV state. Got some good potential.
Well, it's great to have that pipeline full of great bowlers. So, looked at your resume here, Josh McWiggin, one of the 5 seniors. Looked at your resume. You played all the sports there and all that, and you guys just barely missed last year in the semis. Was it a good, confident feeling having all seniors, guys that have been here before in the past? Probably kind of thought you had a good shot at getting quite a ways into the state tournament.
Yeah, exactly. Like we're all in the same class. We know each other really well, so we all have pretty good chemistry, and I feel like that's kind of what brought us together really well. So coming up like Thursdays on our own time, like made us probably come together as a team better and bowl better today.
Well, practice makes perfect. Larry, the Ravenna Blue Jays back again at state championships here for Class D. Back to you, my friend.
All right, thanks, Steve. Congratulations once again to the Blue Jays of Ravenna. They were here last year, finished just short of a state championship, and a lot of happy folks in the crowd here at Sun Valley Lanes. Time now to introduce our runner-up and champs, and for that, let's go to Dwayne DeMode.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another nice round of applause for our 2 finalists? And now for your awards presentation. Your Class D boys runner-up, the Humphrey Bulldogs. J. Babel. Oh my goodness. Coach Stacey Pfeiffer and assistant coach Aaron Croft. My bad. Cameron Miller. Tate Beller. Colton Schmitz. Jacob Lupke. Casey Lebenz. And Andre Brown. And here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to the Humphrey Bulldogs, your Class D boys runner-up. All right. Now here's your 2014-2015 Class D boys state champions, the Ravenna Blue Jays. Head coach Michael Brown and assistant coach Kelly McFadden. Sean McFadden. Shane Andrews. Seth Olson. Steve Bruning. Josh McWigan. And then Ryan Reed. Here's your championship trophy. Congratulations to your 2014-2015 Class D Boys State Champions.
Well, congratulations once again to the Ravenna Blue Jays, the boys Class D state champions. We kick it off with a Ravenna win. When we come back, Class C boys state championship is just ahead. You're going to see one of the top Class C teams in the history of this state, North Bend, as they take on Wayne.
Behind the Outlet, Nebraska Public Power District is exploring solutions to energy challenges today and tomorrow. Teaming with UNL, we are researching irrigation and energy efficiencies, ethanol and byproducts for livestock feed, renewable energy and clean air technologies. We are committed to providing Nebraskans with affordable, sustainable energy while investing in innovation for generations to come. Nebraska Public Power District, always there when you need us.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Tom Kelly's Pro Shop is your home for bowling supplies. Established in 1980, the shop offers 45 different shoe styles, including the complete line of Brunswick, thousands of balls, and over 200 different styles of bags. A father and son team with experience in drilling since 1958 use customized hand measuring and the latest equipment to provide you with the right fit. You can walk in, find everything you need, and go bowling the same day. Tom Kelly's Pro Shop, located in Omaha and Norfolk.
Great opportunity for you to pick up your DVD copy of these 2015 Nebraska Boys State Bowling Championships or last weekend's girls. You can grab that as well just by logging on at NHSBF.com. Follow the links and preserve your state championship memories for a lifetime. Let's look at the combatants here from Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. The now Class C state championship between the North Bend Central Tigers and the Wayne Blue Devils. Take a look at the starting lineups. We'll start with Randy Dodge's North Bend squad. They are the defending state champs. Aaron Anderson is a junior, Anthony Dodge a senior, a couple of sophomores in there, and Brandon Dodge, Trenton Johnston. Michael Minsick is a freshman. Colton Mittis is a freshman as well. And Clay Musingman is a junior. That's for North Bend, the Tigers. Now look at the Wayne Blue Devils. Dustin Baker, the head coach. John Weaver, Micah Sproul's are the juniors at the bottom, along with Preston Paulson. Chris Bird at the top, Tyler Echtenkamp, the two seniors. The sophomore is Ronnie Forney, and Preston Paulson is a junior. Brady Ping, also a senior for the Wayne Blue Devils. Third trip to the finals in 4 years for Wayne. It should be a good one. This is a rematch of last year's state championship final in which North Bend won 3-2. Should be a good one coming back.
High school's almost over. Now what? I wish I knew what to do, or even what I can do. I know I want something more. something I can be proud of. So, how do I get there?
Take the next step with Education Quest College Planning Services by visiting educationquest.org.
Programming on NET television is made possible in part by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank knows the importance of giving back. That's why we're committed to supporting charitable, educational, and service organizations in communities across Nebraska and the nation. In 2014, U.S. Bank employees have already provided more than 3,000 hours of community service in Nebraska, and we are dedicated to continuing that support. U.S. Bank, serving you in Nebraska. Member FDIC.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
No matter how you look at it, animal agriculture helps Nebraska's economy. The livestock industry provides increased tax revenues for schools and community services. Livestock enterprises also create jobs while contributing to existing businesses such as local banks and grocery stores. A thriving livestock industry helps maintain our current way of life, but also provides opportunities for the next generation of farm families. The Nebraska Soybean Checkoff helps to raise awareness of the importance of animal agriculture to Nebraska.
Watch NET Sports anytime, anywhere. Download the free NET Nebraska app today. Watch live streaming of the NSAA High School Championships, college player profiles, full-length episodes from Big Red Wrap-Up, and so much more. The new NET Nebraska app makes it easier than ever to follow the NET sports you want, when and where you want it. Get the app at netnebraska.org/apps.
Wednesday night at 7 Central Time on NET1.
Welcome back to Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska. Along with Steve Simpek, I'm Larry Putney. Great to have you with us as we bring you state boys high school bowling, the state championships across the state of Nebraska from right here in Lincoln at Sun Valley Lanes. About ready for the boys Class C state championship. We talked about this off the top, Steve. We're going to take a look at one of the better Class C teams you will see, and that's Randy Dodge's North Bend squad. You know, these kids know how to play the game.
Yeah, they do. I think Bobby Jones in golf years ago said to somebody that Jack Nicklaus, when he was young, plays a game I am not familiar with. And you're going to see these guys here from North Bend. And it's really the culmination of really their head coach, Randy Dodge, that started this program from the ground up. And if there probably is not a handful of small bowling centers around that probably has more support from the community, not just the parents of the kids in the team, but the community than what North Bend does. And we've got a lot of Class C and D schools there. We've already seen that has good support, but this one's something else. And you're going to see two of the coach's sons on the team today. And
here's one right here to start it off.
A righty and a lefty. This one's the righty. And
Brandon Dodge, the sophomore, averages .213. Some great storylines here. North Bend won the title last year. They are the defending state champs. And you can see he likes to turn it up. Great shot. Leaves the 10-pin.
When he was a 6th grader, he would come into the bowling center and would out-average most of the men in their men's leagues. And then his older brother, who you'll see here shortly, is a lefty. And he was the high average in the bowling center. So, yeah. And it's not just that Dad owns the bowling alley in town, but it's, there's a lot of practice, and these guys are serious about their game.
Here is Brandon Dodge, a sophomore, won a state championship last year as a freshman. That was the only trip to the finals in program history, and they walked away champs, and he just fills frames, according to his father, Randy. And there you see it there, filled that frame. On the right lane is Brady Ping. Ping, a senior, and he also will be looking at a 10-pin. You know, one of the other impressive notes here for this North Bend team is that slides by the 10-pin. And the open frame gives the opportunity early to North Bend, but the other interesting point here for the Tigers in North Bend is they have not lost a Baker game yet in this state tournament. They swept Boone Central 3-0 and swept Wisner-Pilger Wakefield, and there you see that lefty really turn it up, and a rip 7, rips the rack, does Anthony Dodge, the senior. He averages 223.
Well, and all of that is impressive, but what's more impressive is the picking up of spares. And some of these kids on the North Bend program have bowled in national USBC events like Junior Gold and Teen Masters. And so these guys see all sorts of different types of lane conditions, just not their lane condition at their home house. So, you know, but I'm going to say this also. The Wayne program has been around, and it's been time tested, and they've got their share of championships. They were runners up in 2012. They were runners up last year, and you know, you don't have to bust the ball from gutter to gutter to win championships. You got to pick your spares up and catch a few breaks and go from there.
So that was Tyler Echtenkamp that just missed the 310. Great shot there by Colton Mettis. Mettis, a freshman, averages 198.
You saw you have a soft 10 in the pocket. You have a blowout 10 in the pocket and a solid 8 in the pocket for North Bend. So they're getting their share of taps out of the way.
3 straight balls right in the pocket and all single pins. So here's Mettis. Good conversion for Colton Mettis. And through 3, North Bend is clean. And a good cover by Chris Bird, the senior. The first mark of the game for the Blue Devils, who trail here early by 20, 38-18 in the second. Here's Trenton Johnston, another lefty. 2 lefties on this team. That comes up high. Kicks out the 7.
Call that a big design. It's Greek Church -1. Early in the match, you want to take your 2 pins and go back to the bench and try not to do that again. And there's our first look at another person that plays a game we are not familiar with. Our first 2-handed bowler of the telecast, number 21 for Wayne. That's Ronnie Forney.
So 1 of the 4 for Trenton Johnston. First open frame for North Bend. And that will help Wayne get back into this. And here's switches to the 1 hand or single hand to convert the spare, does Ronnie Forney.
Completely legal. There's been a little bit of controversy over the years about 2-handed bowling and whether that's a legal release, a legal delivery, you know, illegal because you're using both hands. You know, there's been all sorts of controversy, but at the end of the day, it's still bowling.
Messenger across the lane and kicks out the 10 for Brandon Dodge. Looking here is John Weaver. Will look to cut it to a 4-pin lead. Here's Weaver, the senior. Crosses over, looks to mix them up and leaves the 5-6. So work to do yet for Weaver.
Well, it was a tough break, but if he can pick this spare up, keeps them within arm's reach of North Bend.
Slid it by on the left side. So that opens the door a bit. And working on a strike gives an opportunity for the Tigers to really open this up. Hey, reminder, the NSAA Girls State High School Championships will be broadcast March 7th, and the boys a week later on the 14th. We've got them both coming up, and they'll all be right here on NET Sports. Action, all classes, all day long. A total of 12 state champions will be crowned over those 2 days, those 2 Saturdays in March, the 7th and the 14th, and you can catch it all on NET1. Here's Tyler Echtenkamp on the left lane. Comes in a bit high, rattles both the 6 and 10. Neither want to fall.
I would say, Larry, the left-hand lane for this this match, it might have a little more back end, a little more hook. We've seen a couple of large splits like that from both teams on that left-hand lane now, and might just be one of those things where that lane's playing just a little more, a little drier.
Good shot by Anthony Dodge. Came up high, left the 6 pin.
You can just get 2 pins here on 27. Save your count. Seeing what happens there is when you're weighing, even though you're on an open frame prior, you know, we've seen too many matches over the years come down to a couple pins here and there. Get your count when you have a really tough and possible split, and then a rare open by Anthony Dodge.
Certainly unusual. Still holds on to that 20-pin lead, 89-69.
Well, I'm sorry, Larry, if you're Wayne, here's your chance. Get up there, throw a strike, and put a little pressure on these guys in North Bend.
Chris Byrne in the pocket. Leaves the 4-7. And now on the right-hand lead, Colton Mettis. Mettis new to the team as a freshman this year. A lot of potential, according to Coach Dodge. A bit wide. It's a 5-pin to fall out.
We have our
1, 2, 4.
We have our bios here on everybody up here, so we can fill all of you in TV land on the interesting facts for the coaches and the players. You know, it's good TV, right, Larry? When you do that stuff, you got to love Coach Brad Whelan from Wayne. When we asked him about his this is the coach's bowling experience. He puts down 30 years of pain. We don't know if that's because he doesn't score well or maybe he's got bad knees or something. We'll have to ask him that later.
Well, you won't see this often. Back-to-back opens, back-to-back errors for North Bend. And Tigers haven't gone 30-0 over the last 2 years by doing that too many times. And wow, was that flush. Trenton Johnston, the sophomore, in deep, and he buries it. That's a great-looking shot.
Two-handed delivery there.
Ronnie Forney, I'm sorry, I just want to check that. Ronnie Forney with the shot.
Two-handed delivery, you just, of course, the now famous Jason Belmonte from Australia on the Professional Bowlers Association National Tour started that, and there's a few, you see a few more two-handed bowlers every year.
Well, you're going to see 3 later in the broadcast. Pius with 3 two-handed bowlers on the team.
Somebody said a guy named Putney started those guys throwing the ball that way when he coached there. Or
must be somebody who knows what they're doing. Huh?
Yeah.
Ah, little mixer. That's a double, and all of a sudden Wayne right back in this. Brady Ping with a big shot, and that gives them the lead.
I remember Brady from last year in the runner-up game as they ended up being runners-up and threw some clutch shots, but just a little bit short. And another open frame by North Bend. So
wow, this is a bit unusual here. Back-to-back-to-back open frames by the Tigers.
Well, Wayne now at about a 15-pin lead. One more strike here, and that's going to get it to about almost to daddy lockups.
Oh. There's some work still to do, but never count this North Bend team out of it. When you've got Dodge and Dodge going back-to-back in the 9th and 10th here, there's still plenty of opportunity.
Potential 166 for North Bend if they can go off the sheet in the 9th and 10th frame. Starts here with the foundation 9th. Great shot.
Flush. And that's, you know, you're really seeing some of that experience across the country come through. You know, these 2 Dodge boys have bowled about everywhere and certainly are used to big moments and big shots needing to be made. Good cover.
Big spare there, Larry.
Absolutely it was.
It's going to give Wayne with a strike potential 156, and it's going to force.
He has to strike.
It's going to force a.
He's really going to need to double.
Yeah.
So he has to have the next two. This is their anchor bowler, lefty Anthony Dodge, the senior. Needs back-to-back strikes. Wow. Good shot. Rattles the 7, but Wayne is going to take game number 1. If he keeps it on the lane. Need 1 pin. 1 pin to lock it up right here.
We've seen people foul. We've seen them throw it in the gutter. We've seen everything.
Not there. So nice job by Wayne.
Possible 146 here with the fill ball for North Bend. Better shot.
155, 146. North Bend will look back and say, we missed 2 single pins in that game and we lose it by 9 pins. No doubt where to point. And that, by the way, is North Bend's lowest Baker game of this tournament and their first loss, 146. Wayne capitalizes, throwing a double in the 8th and 9th, so big shots from the Blue Devils at key moments really led to that Blue Devil win, and they're out in front on top 1-0. Here's Brady Ping.
Simple game, ball right down the track area of the lane. Calling for it to cross over, but no luck.
So leaves the 3-10. We are joined now by the USBC Director of High School Bowling across the entire country. Joined by Brian English. Brian, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thanks for having me.
Here's Brandon Dodge. So, Brian, you're in town enjoying these state high school championships here at Sun Valley Lanes.
Oh, absolutely.
And the weather.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, I'm telling you, it's better than last year. So
we had a blizzard last year.
Yeah, had a blizzard last year, so at least I can see the road this time.
Well, welcome. What's your impression so far?
Oh, it's definitely my favorite trip of the year, and it's definitely my favorite event, and I get to see any PBA show or USBC Masters, and this is still my favorite event. Watching these kids participate, it's fantastic.
As head of high school bowling across the entire country, and you help develop, the sport in high schools. You see events like this throughout the country. Talk about the job that the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation does in putting on this event for the high school athletes of Nebraska.
Oh, they're in my opinion, they're second to none. I use Nebraska always as the example of how to run high school bowling and then how to run an event like this. It's just absolutely extraordinary what these kids get to participate in this arena environment. It's definitely second to none to anybody else in the country, in my opinion.
And the folks behind the scenes, not only John Lucido, but his staff, the job that they do specifically in putting on this event.
Oh, his staff. John's had plenty of experience doing multiple national events, and but his staff here is just unbelievable. Works like clockwork. Yeah. Keeps everything smooth and going. Even when there's kinks, thrown into the mix, nobody ever realizes that they're there because his staff is just really that great.
Mm-hmm. Here's Tyler Echtenkamp on the left-hand lane looking to convert. A couple of big spares here early on for Wayne to let the favored North Bend team know we're not going to go away. You had a couple errors in that game one that really cost you. We capitalized, made big shots, and we're going to stick with it. This is Class C here in Nebraska, and you're seeing quality of bowlers who really can compete at any level.
Absolutely. Both of these teams could easily, kind of compete with teams that are in some of the higher classes.
Yep.
It's really some quality bowling going on between both teams.
The work to do with a 5-6 left. Chris Bird on the right-hand lane. Here's Clayton Musicman, who's getting his first shot of the game. Musicman straight up the boards. Little finish at the back end. Didn't quite get the 10, and that's been the trick for North Bend is can they get the carry? They just have not had much carry in the back row.
Most of them really rip through the ball at the point of release. By doing that, these reactive resin balls finish so hard at the back end. A lot of times that can lead to some spectacular looking strikes, but you can leave some corners too with that ball coming in at such a sharp angle. Cross lane with a different bowling ball, harder bowling ball, which will go straighter.
So, Brian, you joined us last week during the girls telecast. Talk about, some of the efforts that are going on around the, you see high school bowling in programs throughout the country. Talk about the efforts of the USBC, but also states in getting high school bowling recognized as a sport within their communities.
Oh, absolutely. The biggest thing is, all these kids, their parents, their friends, families, they all need to talk with their principals, their athletic directors. These are your kids that are, participating in your schools, and, they're coming out, and you can see, how many kids are participating on both teams. This needs to be recognized, and, this is across the country. You have all these students participating, and they deserve the same recognition as any other sport.
Sport continue to grow
in
terms of varsity and getting recognition across the country?
Oh, absolutely. Being varsity recognized, is a big deal. Holds the kids accountable.
Yeah.
But it also
recognition as well, right?
It gives them the exact same recognition, as every other sport, which they put in all the work, the hours, just like every other athlete. So, they deserve to have that pat on the back and the recognition from their school as well.
Here's a great young bowler in Brandon Dodge, just a sophomore, out of North Bend, looking for the double to extend the lead. Ring and 10. And you can see the frustration on the face of Brandon Dodge there.
I think that's his third one, and you're almost to the point now where maybe he makes a slight adjustment. Maybe he actually moves back on the approach, maybe a couple 2-3 inches to give that ball a little bit of an earlier finish, or maybe he moves forward and tries to adjust the angle of the pocket. You're hitting the pocket that solid. You don't want to change a whole lot of things, but man, that is the third ringer right in a row.
So Brandon Dodge now to convert on the 10 on the right-hand lane.
Straight at it with a hard plastic ball. No problem.
So, Brian, I know you are in contact and you have conversations with Rhonda Blandford Green, who, as everybody in the state of Nebraska knows, is the executive director of the Nebraska School Activities Association. Those conversations, I would imagine, around bowling and sanctioning. How's that process going? What's it look like from an athletic director perspective as well?
Oh, yeah, no, everything's progressing really nicely. Rhonda's really fantastic. She's really, definitely taken a liking to the sport. She has members of her family who bowl at our national events. So, she's a friend to bowling, and she's really helping us gain some much-needed support and really opening the eyes of athletic directors, around the state of how great this sport is and how great it is for our kids to be participating in it.
You look at even the states around Nebraska. Kansas has recognized it at the varsity level within their association. Iowa, the Iowa High School Athletic Association, has recognized bowling as a sport within that state. Just a matter of time?
Oh, just a matter of time. I mean, it just takes a little bit more understanding and really getting eyes focused on kind of what we're doing here. It's hard for people to see an event like this and not say, wow, this is something we should, we need to be a part of it. So this event is every year just gets more people behind the cause to become varsity sanctioned.
So the open frame there for Wayne in the 6th opens the door for North Bend. An important spare conversion here for Clayton Musigman. He'll get another opportunity at a 10-pin here. And that time he covers it up. So Musigman with the cover and extends the lead to 18 pins for North Bend. So an important shot here on the right-hand lane by Chris Bird.
Needs to get a strike to get Wayne back into it. You can feel momentum beginning to switch to North Bend.
Good shot by Bird.
There it is. Fantastic shot.
Hey, Brian, one of the things that we always felt in Nebraska was a really neat statistic, and I know the folks at the NSAA know this information, and athletic directors, I'm sure, know it too, but, they're all busy people. They're all teachers and, could be teaching 1 or 2 classes in addition to coaching a sport, and then they've got to be the athletic director on top. But our statistics in Nebraska showed a long time ago how overall the kids that are bowling in the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation, for a lot of them, the majority of them, this is their only activity that they're doing in high school.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's not only in Nebraska, but it's definitely across the nation. You're looking at 65% to 70% of these, the students that are participating in bowling are not participating in any other activity or sport. So this is getting a whole different group of kids involved, in school functions and activities.
And we know the positive effect that athletics and academics and extracurricular activities have on the performance of students in school.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it promotes great grades, teamwork. It's a great social atmosphere. And then, of course, it's a great thing with bowling and other sports. It propels them on to college, with college bowling continuing to be on the rise. It's a great avenue to send a kid to college.
So do you just have the greatest job in the world, Brian?
Absolutely.
You just get to travel the country?
I travel around. I get to watch a lot of kids with a lot of talent and have a lot of fun. So it's a blast, and it's incredible I get paid to do it.
Did you tell your mom and dad back when you were going to college that you wanted to hang out in bowling alleys for your career?
Oh, it was actually, I used to work at a bowling center, managed a bowling center, and they used to joke that they were going to put me through college so I could go back to run a bowling center. And I'm not running a bowling center, but it's pretty close. But, the sport is near and dear to me, and I absolutely love it.
Well, Larry, I don't know about you, but I think you can feel the momentum beginning to slip away from Wayne here as the North Bend bowlers are beginning to strike a little bit, and we're seeing some errant shots from Wayne. Oh, wow.
Messenger carries.
That is just obscene what he does to the pins down there. That is just massive, massive amount of leverage at the point of release. He just snaps that wrist through the ball.
And that strike will wrap it up for North Bend Central. So the Tigers, after losing game one, 155 to 146, have come from behind and taken this game number 2 to even it at a game apiece. And just look at that shot. Get it a little high there.
Little area check there maybe. Testing out, see how much hold he has. They're going to be in the 180s. So now, here's a chance, and you're going to see a substitute now for North Bend. For Wayne.
This is still Tyler Echtenkamp.
Yeah, he is still in the game. But, you'll occasionally see an opportunity there for a coach to sub in a player in the 10th frame after a game has been decided to see if someone can move things along a little better.
So 187, the score for North Bend. The last question to you, Brian, as we finish out this second game, and thank you for joining us. If we're going to have a lot of eyes on bowling across the state over the last 2 weekends with the Girls State Championship and boys. What would you say to those folks in the community and their role in helping bowling within their community?
Oh yeah, no, all parents, students, talk with your local principals, your athletic directors. Tell them how great, of a time you have, a great experience, a positive experience that you get from participating in, a sport like this, and why it needs to be recognized and why these kids need to get, the proper recognition for all the hard work they really put into it.
That's the USBC Director of High School Bowling across the entire country, Brian English. Thanks for joining us. Good to have you in Lincoln.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah,
appreciate it.
Always good to have Brian in town. He joins us every year for these Nebraska State High School Championships, and good to have his presence and guidance in what's going on in bowling across the country. But I'll tell you, as he said, you and I have seen a lot of bowling over the years and across the country, both high school and collegiate. And the job that they do in putting on these high school championships here is about as good as it gets.
Oh, I've been blessed with the opportunity to have a couple of my own bowling centers host PBA events, and one of them hosted several national events where we had ESPN in for a week and a half getting everything ready, and also televising the national broadcast live. And our folks here at NET, this is as every bit as good and professional, and just it is an unbelievable experience to come in, especially on Saturday, the day before, where you have all three of the Lincoln, or 3 of the 4 of the Lincoln Bowling Centers wall to wall with people for the qualifying round of the state championships. I think you know, fire codes have been breached. There's been so many people.
Yeah.
So,
Not
you know,
breached, but pushed.
Yeah,
right,
you know, pushed. But Wayne is hanging in there. Another open frame. Both teams with open frames here in this third game. But also got to see Brandon Dodge throw his first strike. Brandon has not missed the pocket yet. Has stuck 10 pins every shot. And Brandon, 4 of the 5, I guess. Brandon finally gets to carry one. Now we'll see if Wayne can keep up. A double here would put them in the lead.
Echtenkamp.
Straight up the track area, Larry.
Echtenkamp with a big shot. And that does give, or at least that does give Wayne the lead.
With the exception of Ronnie Forney for Wayne, who is our two-handed bowler that really revs it up, you're seeing the drastic difference in the way the game is played. You're seeing most of the North Bend bowlers like Trenton there with just the massive revolutions he puts on the ball along with the 2 Dodge boys, just with the massive power. But you're seeing the majority of the players on the Wayne team play a more what we would call a conventional game, where the ball is fairly straight in the center part of the lane, a little more of a premium on accuracy. Not going to see as many dazzling strikes where pins are flying in and around and everywhere, but you're going to see that plenty of teams can still play that way and win.
So here is Brandon Dodge, the sophomore, looking for 3 in a row to give that lead back to North Bend.
And you know, you can tell, well, he gets the tomahawk chop there, but that ball, when it came off his hands, he kind of set that one down a little bit. I don't think that was probably his best shot. Came off his hand just a touch early, and he kind of stood up quick on that, knowing that he might not have liked the results, but one of the great things about that power game is you can carry pins out of the flat gutters or off the kickbacks to take care of what's left standing.
So good cover there by Chris Bird to keep Wayne close. The 3-bagger has given the lead to North Bend, so an important shot here for Ronnie Forney, the sophomore 2-hander. Crosses over, leaves the 3.
And I think the phobia you're going to see with the television show environment is the last thing kids want to do is throw it in the gutter, you know, on TV. So if you're going to see some errors by guys that hook it a little bit, you're going to see some errors by guys that are going to go high, like he did there. So he'll use one hand on the spare.
Covers it up, and that is through 5. So the 2 teams will switch sides after the 5th frame, and there you see North Bend with a slight lead based on count in the 4th frame. Hey, reminder, you can connect with us on Facebook and Twitter, add a comment, or catch up on the latest Nebraska sports information. Just be sure to like NAT Sports and Big Red Wrap-Up and join in the conversation on NAT.
Did you tweet during the break there, Larry?
Always tweet.
Yeah, boy.
Important shot here now for Brady Ping. Good shot, and Ping with his 2nd consecutive strike.
He just played right between 10 and 15, which would be between the 2nd and the 3rd arrow on the right-hand side of the lane. Kept the ball direct at the pocket. Settled nicely in.
Here's Anthony Dodge, who has a 300 to his name and puts 4 in a row on the board for North Bend Central. Tyler Echtenkamp will try to answer.
It would be great for Wayne if they could do so. The ball just started right at target. You could tell when it came off of his hand. Just didn't quite have enough to recover.
So an 11-pin lead, trying to build on it is Colton Metis. Metis is going to have to cross over. Doesn't get the 10 to go. Boy, the first bad shot we've seen Metis make.
Yeah, he's been, obviously doesn't have the coverage of area that that Brandon Dodge has, but good straight conventional game. Spare is desperately needed here by Wayne, and done.
Good cover.
Keeps a glimmer of hope for them. Down right now by about 30 pins. Actually, about 20 here with the spare if Colton can go cross lane. Using a different ball, hard plastic ball, although he pulled it. And it just, that's the advantage of using a hard plastic ball, is the ball's not going to hook. And
you see the deep breath from the freshman there?
Yeah, I think he thought that might not that wasn't the result he was expecting, but yeah, that ball with low surface friction slides across the lane and picks the spare up. Big opportunity here for Wayne, and carries it.
Big shot. Hanging around is Wayne, still down 20. Getting to the point now where they're going to have to string some strikes together, so the 9th frame will be very important for Wayne. Let's see what Trenton Johnston does here in the 8th for North Bend. Looks like they figured something out there.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see if we get into a 4th game, what that left side will end up being like with the traffic that is out there in that area. And now we get into a little bit of bowling ball technology 101. These bowling balls that are used today really do everything from move to pick up, to carry, to erase, all of those different things, the conditioner or oil on the lane. Typically what it does is it displaces it or carries it around, always down towards the pins. As the ball travels down the lane towards the pins, it picks up oil and carries it down. And usually with the majority of bowlers being right-handed, the right-hand side of the lane will change over time, and especially with these reactive resin urethane bowling balls that are being used. Now we do have 2 lefties, and they both, with a lot of rotation, can move that oil around a little bit. So you might see some changes in lane conditions. You might see the lane start to hook a little bit, or you might see the lane hang a little bit. So it'll be interesting to see what happens here. We'll obviously see one more game. Another good spare.
Good cover. And that will extend the lead. And really, all North Bend needs is some count in the 10th frame, and they'll win it.
They'll need 7 pins. Is all they'll need to win the game 3. So Wayne just needs to keep their heads up, make some good shots. That was a good shot, just a little thin.
And that will do it. So North Bend, without throwing another ball, has already won game number 3, and they now take a 2-games-to-1 advantage. I'm guessing with the talent on this team that Anthony Dodge likely does not step onto the lane in the 10th frame with too many games in doubt.
Yeah, he could probably be pretty loose with what he needs to do. You know, when we had Brian English here just a few minutes ago, not only does Brian go to states and cover their state high school, whether it's varsity or club events, there's a lot of national events that the United States Bowling Congress runs, National Junior Gold, the National Pepsi Championship, things like that. And Teen Masters is another one that's held all over the United States. And the ability to go and do those things, every youth bowler has the ability to do so. You know, of course, it costs a couple bucks, and you've got to have the resources and the time to do that. But boy, the experience is just, you know, tenfold. So you're seeing with at least 2 of the North Bend bowlers, Anthony and Brandon Dodge, these kids have been all over the United States bowling in different events. And
so Wayne puts a 181 on the board. That's their highest Baker game today, but unfortunately for the Blue Devils, it was also North Bend's highest game of 211. North Bend's highest Baker game of the tournament. They win at 211, 181, and now lead it 2-games-to-1 over Wayne. So North Bend just 1 win away from taking its 2nd consecutive state championship.
But a 181, I'm encouraged by the score of 181 if I'm the head coach of the Wayne Blue Devils. And only one way to go, and that's up. You pick those spares up, which they only had 2 open frames that last game. They were both splits.
Crossover gets out the 8, leaves the 9, and leaves the 3.
Maybe A couple less strikes by North Bend is all it's needed for Wayne to take this to Game 5. Just watch Brandon Dodge when he lets go of the ball right at the foul line. Watch his wrist snap through the ball right there, right up the backside of it. Tremendous power.
Yeah.
And his release is really different than his brother's. Brandon's release is what we call back up or up behind the ball. His fingers and hand rotate the ball more forward, still with some hook action to it, where his older brother Anthony, the lefty, who you'll see up next, his hand is more around the side of the ball, which delays the hook further down the lane. And that's why you see Anthony with such a late break on the ball. You can just tell by the way the ball is rotating going down the lane, but didn't stand a chance. Either one of those shots, the pins, they
just terrific shots by both Brandon and Anthony Dodge. Open Game 4 up with a double.
This young man, though, Brady Ping, has been around, been a part of a couple of teams that have made it to the state finals.
This is their 3rd trip in 4 years, and get this, 5 trips in 7 years into these finals for Wayne. Now, that's just an outstanding program.
Credit Dusty Baker and Brad Wieland and everybody, the proprietor of Wildcat Lanes in Wayne, Rick Barner, good friend of mine. Rick got his start in bowling working for AMF back in the 70s. He traveled around and sanded bowling lanes all over the United States. And in the 80s, Rick had a chance to get out and do his own resurfacing. Rick's resurfacing company sanded our lanes in the Elkhorn area and did a great job. But Rick's from Wayne, and when the bowling center in Wayne came up for sale, Rick felt he wanted to go back to his roots in Wayne and keep the bowling center going, and opened it up again and put a lot of money into it and keeps it going up there. It's a little hub of activity in Wayne.
Great double by Wayne there. Chris Bird on the crossover. The Musicman, second time in that right lane, he slid by a 10-pin.
I think he was a little further left the frame or the game before when he picked that up. He didn't quite have the angle there, so just about all tied up here.
Yeah. Yep. Wayne actually with the lead now. Wayne won titles back in 2009, 2010, back-to-back. Here's a two-hander, cross it over. He's just so much deeper than everybody else.
And with the revolutions on the ball, you have to play that angle, but you also need to get the ball to a certain spot on the lane, and Ronnie's having a little trouble, I think, getting a consistent release where he can get that ball to the area of the lane he needs to get it to where it will break sharply into the pocket. This is almost like a strike shot, the 1 and the 3.
Much better shot there. Found the right area.
And Larry, when you were coaching the Pius Thunderbolts back in the day, you had a couple two-handed bowlers, and it's a whole different, obviously release. You're using both hands, but you have to rotate that ball around your hip. There's a lot of different logistical things that would not be anything I would know about.
Well, the fundamentals really are completely different. I mean, there's a power step in that third step. When he comes up next time, we'll show you the power step that the two-handers use that really set them up to be able to deliver it online and deliver it with a lot of rotation as well as speed.
My ball got more revolutions when I put it in my bag at the end of the night than I threw on the lanes. That was kind of a...
It's like your jump shot, too, isn't it?
That was kind of a straighty back in the day. I think Brandon is lined up now and has figured out his carrying issues. And, well,
got it. Kind of tripped that one out of the gutter, didn't he?
Yeah, just tremendous pin action. 6-pin goes into the channel and just gets up and out of there enough to tap that 10 over, and need a spare here to keep the lead.
Acton Camp covers it. An important shot there because you know who's coming up as they switch sides after the 5th, and Brandon has already put 1 on the board, and up comes Anthony to try to make it 2 in a row. So an important mark there for Wayne. Hey, I want to remind you, coming up on March 7th and March 14th. Girls and boys state high school basketball championships right here on NET. We'll be at the Pinnacle Bank Arena all day long on both of those days as they do double, big double for North Bend Central, and bring you all of that high school boys and girls state basketball action across the state of Nebraska on NET. So that essentially pulled Dodge back to even, that double. Slapped the 5 out of there on the strike by Brady Ping. And now an important shot here for Clayton Musigman. Musigman needs to cross it.
Oh, wow, what a break.
Wow, crosses over for the Brooklyn, but gets the strike. 3 in a row, and that gives them the lead. A 2-pin lead right now for North Bend. An important shot here and a big strike for Chris Bird. Got it. Keeping pace on the shot by Bird, and he's been very effective today. The senior for the Blue Devils. Here's Trenton Johnson. We'll try to stay ahead of it. You see that? 107-105. Both teams working on a double, looking to make it 3, and he squashes the rack.
Just that ball came in and took the 5-pin and sent it into the 10, and then it probably is still going down Cornhusker Drive somewhere in Lincoln.
Oh, big shot by the two-hander. Back and forth battle here. 3 in a row for Wayne, 4 in a row for North Bend. Oh, this is a good one. Going into the 9th.
2-pin lead for North Bend. It's going to be who. It's going to come down to who obviously doesn't strike first, but a missed spare here could spell doom.
Oh, what a great shot. Wow, Brandon Dodge flushes it.
And what you saw Brandon do there is what he did the frame before. He cut down on the hook, he increased his speed, went more straight at it, increases your carry. You get a light hit like Tyler did the frame before. You send pins everywhere, but this is a must strike here. It looks like a good shot. Oh, boy, that looked really, really good.
Just a little light for Echtenkamp. And now a shot that could really put this away.
Yeah, a strike here is going to just about seal it up for North Bend.
Needs to get up. Oh, what a shot. Wow. Under pressure, big shot. Good cover.
Wayne is going to be in the 2 teens to 220s, and it's not going to be enough. It just most likely isn't.
Wayne's got a chance here to 230.
Yeah,
but North Bend already there.
Yeah, North Bend
just needs
could
to
shoot 250 with a double.
And that was a must, and that'll do it. So the is it 6? 6 in a row. 6 in a row by North Bend has led them to back-to-back state championships.
Well, this just will be I guess a good bit of fodder for small town bowling centers that you're seeing right there. These are homegrown kids from a small community that have been taught the game of bowling and have been grown up practicing and dedicating themselves. And you don't have to be from Omaha or Lincoln or a bigger city to have a chance to compete at a high level in a sport. You can be from a small community, and you just need to spend some time and dedicate yourself to the sport. And both these boys, both the Dodge boys, are also very, very good baseball players.
244 for North Bend. An outstanding 221 for Wayne, but they come up short. What a terrific game and a showcase of high school bowling in the state of Nebraska. 244-221. North Bend wins its 2nd consecutive state championship. We'll be back right here on NET.
Outlet are more than 6,000 public power employees working tirelessly to generate and deliver safe, affordable, reliable electricity 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. Since they are customer owners themselves, you can count on them to have your best interests and those of the community they serve at heart. Neighbors serving neighbors. That's public power.
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Bear Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
Programming on NET television is made possible in part by U.S. Bank. U.S. Bank knows the importance of giving back. That's why we're committed to supporting charitable, educational, and service organizations in communities across Nebraska and the nation. In 2014, U.S. Bank employees have already provided more than 3,000 hours of community service in Nebraska, and we are dedicated to continuing that support. U.S. Bank, serving you in Nebraska. Member FDIC.
For me, asking why is just getting started.
It's more than an activity. It's me doing what I love.
I'm not a stereotype. When I rewrite the rules, things get better.
I know that all these experiences matter.
These moments will help me become something more.
Little things always lead to something bigger.
Do it.
Track it.
Earn it.
What you're doing now will help you get scholarships later. Find resources from Education Quest at trackyoursuccess.org.
Back at Sun Valley Lanes in Lincoln, Nebraska, congratulations to North Bend. They are the state champs. They dropped game one, but come back and take the next three with a final of 244 in the last game. For more on that, let's go down to Steve Simpek.
Thank you, Larry. Here on the approach with head coach Randy Dodge and his senior son, Anthony Dodge. What'd you think after game one when you guys had some issues with spares and all that stuff? You have to had to be thinking a little bit about what was going on there during that game.
Yeah, I just figured that we need to make good quality shots, pick up our spares, and once we did that, we pretty much knew that we could take home the title.
Now, Larry and I talked a lot about the experience that you guys have, especially your two boys, Randy, but the other boys in your North Bend program, about how you have traveled all over, the Midwest and the United States, bowling in different events, different lane conditions, different environments, and so now when you come to a place and you bowl, having all that different experience on those varying lane conditions has to help you when you try to get out there and bowl and line up and find the correct angle to play or the correct ball to use?
Oh yeah, it definitely helps. Going on different sport patterns, it gives you an extra advantage over the other bowlers that haven't had that much experience on it. And just bowling overall has just helped you manage where you want to play and how you're going to score.
And Randy, we talked also in the telecast about how basically, your program in a town of 1,200 people was really born by you, and the tremendous support that the whole community gives your program is a testament to all these bowling centers in Nebraska that are in towns with 6 or 8 lanes on how you can have something like this if you just get some people behind it doing the right things.
Well, yeah, you got to have people behind it. But the most important thing is those kids, they come in, they practice, they want to bowl. If you can give them something to be excited for and they work hard at it, and this event right here is just the pinnacle of it all for these boys to come in and have a chance to win a state title. It's just, it's unbelievable.
Well, back-to-back championships. Congratulations, guys. You're going to be losing one, but you still got another Dodge boy to come up and keep you guys in the hunt the next year. Larry, back-to-back state championships for North Bend Central. Back to you.
All right, thanks very much, Stephen. Once again, congratulations. An outstanding performance by these North Bend guys who just continue to be impressive on the lanes, winning their second consecutive state championship. And now for medal and trophy presentations, let's go down to our public address announcer. Here's Dwayne DeMode.
Ladies and gentlemen, how about another nice round of applause for our 2 finalists? And now for your awards presentation. Your Class C boys runner-up, the Wayne Blue Devils. Coaches Brad Whelan and Dylan Sokol. Brady Ping. Tyler Echtenkamp. Chris Bird. Ronnie Forney. John Weaver. Preston Paulson. Micah Sprawls. And here's your runner-up trophy. Congratulations to the Wayne Blue Devils, your Class C boys runner-up. Congratulations now to your Class C boys champions, the North Bend Tigers. Coaches Randy Dodge and Matt Musicman. Brandon Dodge. Anthony Dodge. Colton Mettis. Trenton Johnston. Clayton Musicman. Gentlemen, here's your championship trophy. Congratulations, this is your 2014-15 Class C Boys State Champion.
So congratulations once again to North Bend, winning back-to-back state championships in an impressive fashion. 244 in their final game. We've got a good one coming up in Class B. Pius 10 takes on Hastings. Stay with us.
Whether it's spring planting, fall harvesting, or just a drive across the state, soy biodiesel helps a diesel-powered engine operate in a demanding job. Soybean oil from Nebraska soybeans makes biodiesel a renewable fuel that's also environmentally responsible. The soybean checkoff plays a major role in supporting the use and availability of biodiesel. The Nebraska Soybean Board, growing opportunity from the ground up.
If you stay long enough, if you put yourself in the right place, your head, heart, and soul align, everything slows down. And even though you're on vacation, for the first time and you can't remember when, you feel at home. Wouldn't that be nice?
Funding for the NHSBF State Championships was provided by the Lincoln Bowling Association through grants from the Alan and Marcia Baer Foundation and the Nebraska High School Bowling Federation. Reminding you that more than 1,000 high school students compete statewide in varsity bowling.
Tom Kelly's Pro Shop is your home for bowling supplies. Established in 1980, the shop offers 45 different shoe styles, including the complete line of Brunswick, thousands of balls, and over 200 different styles of bags. A father and son team with experience in drilling since 1958 use customized hand measuring and the latest equipment to provide you with the right fit. You can walk in, find everything you need, and go bowling the same day. Tom Kelly's Pro Shop, located in Omaha and Norfolk.
Hello, I'm Dave Hughes, inviting you to join the NET Sports Partners Club. With your support, NET brings you hundreds of hours of collegiate and high school sports action each year, and members have access to behind-the-scenes information and special events available to NET Sports Partners. So call us now at 800-989-8236 or online at netnebraska.org. NET is Nebraska's home for sports, and sports partners like you make it happen. Thank you.
Watch the NSAA Girls State High School Basketball Championships Saturday, March 7th, beginning at 9 a.m. Central and continuing throughout the day. There's action in all classes. Visit netnebraska.org for times. Live streaming is available at the NET website and on the NET Nebraska app.